So some stuff happened during that game that was, well, let's face it, a raging dumpster fire of crap. That was so not how that game was supposed to go after a really disappointing road trip in which we lost 5-1 to Ottawa, who doesn't even have half their lineup, and then we lost 4-1 to the Maple Leafs, which I was more expecting. But still, coming back home and having Jonathan Quick back, you really would have thought against a team like the Islanders, who suck, and played last night against the Ducks and lost, I believe, also 4-1, possibly 3-0. There was a 3-goal deficit on their part either way. You really would have thought that the Kings would have been able to bring some more of their A game. This was not that. This was just awful. Really, really just awful. In fact, I could probably explain 90% of the third period in a gif of a house burning down on fire. All badness. All badness. So, yeah. First 5 minutes looked pretty good. We have a power play, and we were suddenly reminded of why the Kings were 1-21 going into the game. Sorry, not 1-21. 0 out of 21. We have not scored on the power play, and the first power play of the game, making it 22, was not going to change that. The first unit, which was, the big guns you expected, Doughty and all those people, that was pretty good. They were getting some good looks. The second unit, which includes Pearson, who would have been scratched tonight had Anze Kopitar not come down with an illness. Please get better, Anze Kopitar. Please get better. Yeah, that was just, again, a dumpster fire. It really was a portent for what happened in the third period. So Jonathan Quick stops his first shot on goal a little less than 5 minutes in, and then proceeds to give up the next goal 4 seconds later. 4 seconds. Win a face-off, shoot the puck, there's a goal, Islanders are up 1-0, and that is so LA Kings. So that continued. It was a fairly even by the end of it first period. They were out hitting us at the beginning, and we were out shooting them, and then that kind of evened up, and all of the statistics were within one of each other. Like, we had 10 shots on goal, they had 9. We ended up with an even amount of hits, face-off percentage, literally all exactly the same. And we actually managed to tie up the game on a power play. You guys, there was hope at the beginning. We scored a power play goal, and it was beautiful. It was mostly Drew Doughty. It was his shot that was redirected or tipped in by Tyler Toffoli, and possibly could have been by Kempe. He was right at the net too. But yeah, a power play goal, and only like 16 seconds or so into the power play. So that was exciting and uplifting, and at the end of the first period, you just expected better. You really expected that they were going to be able to hold their own. I just had so much hope at the end of the first period that I did not by the end of the second, which ended 3-1. Yeah, Kempe took 2 penalties, and since he drew the first penalty, I was willing to let one of them slide, but by 2, and I'm like, okay, oh no, it's a little concerning considering. And they scored on one of them, so it was 2-1. And then Jonathan Quick got a penalty, which wasn't a penalty so much as he was reaching his goalie stick out to block a shot like, he's supposed to, and an Islander tripped over his stick, and so that was tripping. If that had have been a player, like anyone else that wasn't the goalie, I would have completely understood that, yes. But he is using his goalie stick in the way in which it was intended to be used, and the Islander just happened to get in the way. Like, he did stop the puck with that, so he was doing his job as a goalie. So anyway, I have an issue with that penalty, but whatever. And then it became 3-1 pretty quickly, and that's when things really started to just spiral out of control a little bit. You get to the third period. Couple of minutes in, we have a 5-on-3. We have a minute and 26 seconds of a 5-on-3. So if ever there was a time to turn around a game, that would have been it. And especially considering how much our power play sucks, dear God, I miss Dustin Brown. Is it possible for anybody else in our team to go to the front of the net? Like, is this just, like, not a thing? So anyway, it was potentially going to be very, very embarrassing for the Kings had they not done anything on this, but they did. So we get 1 goal back. Thank God. Things are looking okay because we still have a good minute left on this of a power play once the 5-on-3 was ending, and it's 3-2, and here's where the game could have turned in the Kings' favor. We could have gained momentum from said power play. We could have tied it up. There are many, many things that could have happened. Instead, Kovalchuk mishandles the puck right at the edge of our offensive zone, and that leads to a shorthanded goal with 46 seconds left into the penalty. And from then on, it really was like watching a house burn down or a volcano erupt and spew lava all over a town, or watching a sink slowly ship or a plane fall out of the sky. There were so many things. I could relate this to an actual dumpster fire. It was like watching something burn down. I really am not going to recap it because it's just as depressing as you think it is when I tell you the final score was 7-2. 7-2. Clearly, Jonathan Quick was not ready to come back, and the team in front of him, who would usually bail him out, were just not there. Quick was pulled with about 10 minutes left when we were down 6-2. Campbell gave up 1 goal, which obviously was not the losing goal of the game. Like, that's whatever. But at that point, everything was awful. And I do not want to be in that locker room when that game was over. Do not want to be anyone who they are going home to. It just was awful. So 7-2. So many things to work on. I don't even know where to start. My 2 cents, maybe replacing Sutter. I'm all for needing to replace Sutter. Maybe we didn't pick the right guy for that. You have a lot of talent on this team, and yeah, Brown is out, and yeah, Kopi was out, but Jonathan Quick should not be in a position to give up 6 goals. That is so not Jonathan Quick. And you have Carter and Doughty, and Kovalchuk was supposed to be this big get, and I'm yet to see how exciting that is. You have young guys like Kempe who have a lot of speed and spent more time in the penalty box than they did doing anything exciting. You have Wagner, who has a lot of speed and is yet to finish off anything with that. You have Toffoli and Pearson, who have been pretty disappointing as of late. So you have a lot of players who should be playing better and are not, and at that point, when there's that many of them, that's when I start looking at the coach. Now, it's very early in the season. I am not calling for anyone's head. The world has not ended yet. But that third period was abysmal, and the Kings never, ever, ever need to play like that again. That being said, we are going into an afternoon game against a terrible team on Saturday, which is just the combination for the Kings to do something awful, because they do not thrive or excel in that environment. So good luck, Kings fans. I will see you again on Saturday, hopefully with better news.